transportation problems. That's what everybody has in common.
Hello, I'm Dennis McGinn, founder and CEO of vehicle reconditioning and communications company, Rapid Recon. At your place, we visit guests at their place of business to engage in conversations about the auto industry. Today, we are talking to Jay Wertzberger, the founder of YouTube channel show ATI Auto Business, and we have Ty Thompson, CEO of Cars on the Move. And as you can see, Ty's out in the place where the business is done, where it's cold, and we're leaning on him a bit. And Jay is there looking all smart in his studio. But we're going to dive into this topic, and we're going to swim around in it because it's such an important area for the dealers, for the customers, for Rapid Recon. Welcome, and thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Dennis. How are you?
I am terrific. Thank you for asking. Jay,
Great.
Right off the bat, give our viewers a 90-second overview of ATI and the nature of the program you broadcast for the car business.
Thanks, Dennis. So ATI Auto Business is a YouTube channel. I founded it in 2017, and it lives on YouTube. And we're into video, audio, education in automotive. We have roots in transportation. So 5 years ago, it was called Auto Transport Intel, and it was focused on carriers and best practices, business, brokers, dispatchers, and that vertical. But since we've pivoted to all of automotive and how transportation ties in so directly with the other verticals, with dealer sales, with auction wholesale. And so today we say ATI Auto Business is bringing together retail, wholesale, logistics, and tech.
I've seen your show, Jay, and I've heard you reference the phrase auto retail ecosystem. What do you mean by this phrase?
I'm going to pass this over to Ty because he is the one that helped me connect the front of the store to the back of the store. So Ty, do you want to take that away?
Hi. I do Friday. I'm live in a transport parking lot somewhere, and I'm talking about real life stuff. So real life stuff back into the store is where all kinds of cool things happen, from transportation to service to detail. And these are things that people don't maybe understand or don't realize the value and the importance of knowing what each guy's doing. So just standing here in this parking lot today, I've already met the guy who's in charge of recon. And you can see cars behind me, and there's a system, right? So we like to show, demonstrate, and display how all these touch.
You have a really wide audience. I see transporters, auto dealers. What do they all have in common? And why should they tune in here? What are they going to get out of this?
Well, they all have in common.
I'm ring the bell. Okay, and I'm just going to say this. I'm going to kick it to Ty, but transportation problems. That's what everybody has in common.
Well, yeah, and I was going to go with money and time, right? So, you know, it doesn't matter which department you're in. If you're in the transportation department and somebody's calling you, asking you where are the cars, there's a reason they're asking. And our job is to educate whoever's asking and whoever's doing the job. Why is it taking so long, and what's the push behind that? And I always come up with the same two: time and money.
I'm going to jump in and say is that we know that, yeah, so front of the store, back of the store. Back of the store is the transporter that is worried about his time and money on his end as far as a business. Everybody else is worried about losing time and money. Where is the guy? Where is the car? And when I started ATI in 2017, not enough people really, they left it at that. They'd ask the question and then, okay, well, I guess we'll go about our business. We're bringing the conversation. And someone just said Tuesday night, they don't know why people don't want to talk about transportation. And the answer could be they don't know what to say.
what are the problems that you see most of the time, and how has this conversation changed over the last 2 years with everything that's going on in this industry?
Great question.
I'll jump in and say, I think that the last 2 to 3 years have brought amazing relevance to what it is that we're trying to help do, to raise an industry, a vertical, and help the delivery and logistics connection issues. And with all the changes that happened with home delivery and even the size of trailers, you wouldn't believe in our own vertical, in transportation, there was a belief that if you didn't drive a 9-car hauler, you weren't a real car hauler. I used to talk about this. Is a Carvana flatbed single car hauler a car hauler? Well, today it's assumed it is. But even 5 years ago, people weren't sure. So much has changed with respect to delivery, logistics, transportation, and size of car haulers. Yeah, we're really glad that we're here to have this conversation.
Do you think that that the dealers really understand the impact of not getting the transportation part right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty.
I think they understand. Yeah, they understand really well that this is what I love about ATI, because we can talk about the dealer. I'm not a dealer. I did have a dealer's license, but I was a transport guy. I was a broker, and I had a dealer's license. The reason I had the dealer's license was in case we damaged the car, I could just buy it and take it back to the auction and get rid of it. But back to what you're asking or talking about, the dealer, I've got a saying that I say a lot, Dennis. It's called love the dealer, right? And the reason I say love the dealer is because the dealer honestly has taught me everything I know about being here today. They understand why they need that car. They may not do the best job communicating to me why they need it, but if I'm paying attention, there's something driving that phone call. There's something driving everything. So I see ATI as the place where we can have an honest conversation. Jay kind of came up with this phrase. It's called the neutral zone, right? Where we can all come together, we can ask questions and have conversations. So when you see me with my little camera at a conference at NIADA talking to a used car dealer and asking him how's transportation working out for you, and you hear the story, well, I used to go to the auction, now I got to go online, I got to buy everywhere. Yeah, well, how's transportation working out for you? Oh, God. Let me tell you a story. He goes into this long story about the car that he posted on Central Dispatch. The guy picked it up, got caught somewhere in town with drugs and all kinds of problems, and he lost the car. It's in the impound now. I mean, so to have conversations with carriers, dealers, and to understand what we're all trying to do here, that's what ATI is all about.
And now, because of our network, because we go live at so many trade shows, we are now not just having conversations, but connecting businesses that have technologies that will help each other. Ty was live at a Digital Dealer and connecting a auto transport business with a portal that will help dealers look into how they're doing with transportation numbers and efficiencies, and connecting that technology company to other technology companies and dealerships. That's a business proposition happening at ATI right now.
You know, we use these key performance indicators, two of them, one called average days in recon, and the larger one is usually time to line, which is your speed to getting the car ready to sell. And you know, we start the clock for the dealer as soon as they own the car, and it could be anywhere. And so I have seen situations where transportation wasn't an issue. They were sourcing things locally. I've seen it where, like with Luther VW in the Midwest, where they were buying all their cars off the West Coast, and their average was 7 days, and so changed the whole profile of their business. But if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And so that's kind of our way of looking at it. You've got to have the information in front of you before you know exactly how big the problem is. So that's kind of how I look at this whole thing. I really get it. I really do understand the differences, and I've seen it change a lot. When we first got involved with this industry, people weren't paying a lot of attention to the transportation part of this back in 2010, 11, 12. Now they seem like they really have a pretty good grasp of it. So what other things, Jay or Ty, would you like to point out for us, maybe for the Rapid Recon viewers?
Well, I want to say this is that another thing that I love about what we do is, like, content is my currency. I love great content and conversations, and I like to put great conversations right here. We're on your place, right, with you. So we're combining conversations and content in a meaningful way, and through doing that with you and your group on a Friday on Cars on the Move, key to key, as you explained to me, and I learned it while we were live with Ty, key to key, drove it home. Chris D'Amico drove home what that means. And so now I have that in my arsenal of understanding of how to relate to other aspects of the industry. And so I love that, and I appreciate that. And that's what I love about working with you and your group, is that it continues to expand our understanding of how everything relates to each other in this ecosystem. And so we're so happy that we were maybe the first ones to do it at this level with transportation. And so we are custodians of this information and our network and these businesses. And so we want to do it right. And that's what we do at ATIs. We want to do it right.
Well, this is terrific conversation. And, it's so much has changed in the last 2 years with where the dealers are sourcing their vehicles, having moved away from predominantly away from the auctions, but and doing a lot of buying centers and things like that. And so that's got to really change the conversation around transportation, both in terms of distance and speed, and even making the right decisions for the right vehicles. So what you're doing here is really critical. I really do get it, and you bring a lot of value to this conversation.
Thanks, Dennis. Yeah, Ty.
Well, just one thing, you talked about that in sourcing vehicles. So I had a big fleet of trucks, 9 cars at a time, 20, so I can move 180 cars. I grew up at the auction, right? I grew up in the transport parking lot in the auction. And, you bring up an interesting point about sourcing vehicles, because like you're saying, I could talk to any car dealer anywhere, and I could say, where do you get your cars? And I knew the answer would be 3 different auctions, right, within a certain radius. Yep. Today, you go ask that dealer, where do you get your cars? And you might get 6 answers that have nothing to do with anything that I know 22 years of car hauling. And so by paying attention to who's your customer, right? So I get a lot of phone calls every day. Hey, Ty, I want to be a car hauler. Hey, Ty, I am a car hauler. I need help. Well, as you say, I always say, well, who's your customer? And what do you know about your customer? And you'd be shocked. I'm shocked. I am shocked how many adult males want to own their own business and have no idea who their customer is. So as I start talking to carriers, and we emphasize the dealer and the value of the dealer and what's this dealer doing, and I say, what about a buy center? And they don't even know what a buy center is, right? So I feel like I'm educating a lot of people. And where I was going with this auction thing, how we maybe used to do business, you look at a company like VenQ, you look at a company like Dealers Link. How do I know those companies, and how do I know what they're doing? Well, I'm at the conferences and I'm learning, but things are changing so fast as to how dealers source vehicles, just like Dennis was talking about. And as a service provider for my customer, I really need to know what's going on. And so I think that's another beautiful thing I love about Jay and ATI and the platform is we really try to put the light on Rapid Recon and what Rapid Recon does and the importance of the transport guy knowing Rapid Recon. It's a really important process. So I always appreciate learning more and hanging out with Jim and Dennis and Anthony and Keith and keep going. But you guys have taught us a tremendous amount. Time to line, right? All these things, it's so cool. So I mean, thank you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
It's been challenging, but it's been a really kind of fun and reassuring to see people paying more attention to this part of the business. And I think the fact you get a lot of the omni-channel, in other words, you know, the customers have buying options from many different directions now. But you go on, you look for a car you want, and you look in Google and you get lots of hits, and all of a sudden you've got an opportunity to go in 8 directions. Well, the one thing that's for sure, if you don't have the car and it's not ready, it's not eyeball ready, which means you have to bought it and transport it and recondition it, you're gonna be left behind. I mean, that speed element is just such a big deal, and not missing opportunities to get the cars you want in front of people ASAP.
And Dennis, I'm going to take a little credit here. I'm the guy that found the Facebook post where the carrier said, "My ETA is my ETA," and I'm not interested in broadcasting. I don't even know who that guy is, but that's a real post. And I talked about it on ATI saying this is part of our problem. He's not alone. There's a whole country of carriers that think that my ETA is my ETA.
We got a lot of work to do, Jay.
A lot of work to do.
And can you just say that in a little different way? So I'm the dealer principal, and that ATA and the transportation piece, how do they deal with that? I mean, what's your suggestion about
Ty?
ETA?
Go ahead. This is you, buddy.
Yeah. So this came up Tuesday night. We had Run Buggy, we had Montway, we had Pre-Owned Auto Logistics, RCG.
Ship Your Car Now.
Anyway, McAllister. McAllister is where this came from. McAllister came out with this. I was like, wait, what did you say? Blue chip carrier, right? Blue chip carrier. The beautiful thing that I love about what I get to do is I get to be the guy that tells the carrier, "You suck." Excuse my language, but I say that to their face. And the reason I say stuff like that is to get their attention, because they really have this mentality: I'm not going to work for the man. My ETA is my ETA. I get there when I get there. I look how I want to look. No, you will be gone in 3 months or less, and however much money you invested to get to this place is going to be gone also. So what I think one of the important things to do, and this is crazy too, by the way, I've got a contact that keeps up with how many car haulers are in America. That number's dropping every day. Meaning, that used to, one guy would leave, maybe 15 would come in right behind him. Today, one guy leaves, I think we're down to about maybe 3 to 5 that come in behind him. And those guys that don't know what they're doing, no business strategy plan, no marketing, no research, no nothing. They're just, I saw a video, I can make $10,000 a week with my truck. One of the things I want to do is stop that. I consulted a guy just yesterday, a car dealer. He's got 2 stores, 50 cars on each store. He's wanting to get into transportation, haul cars. As we get to talking, by the way, he's paying me for my time, right? And as we're talking, I can clearly see this guy has no reason to be in auto transport. You need to stay and you need to keep selling cars. That's your job. And he's like, "Man, thank you. I really needed somebody just to be honest, just to tell me this is a bad idea." And I was like, "Well, that's what I do. There are people that can do it, but you really need to have a lot of determination, a lot of perseverance, and really it's helpful to have a lot of money. So I don't know if I answered your question, but.
No, yeah, I mean, that definitely answers the question. I mean, there's no room in this world for people, you own those cars that are on the other end that need to be delivered to you. So that ATA needs to be per the customer.
But there are also so many moving parts. I just want to say this, from company driver to owner operator, right? There's a difference right there. If you're a great car hauler, company driver, you have a little more leeway with the way you operate because you're not interfacing with the customer. So this is something else we're sensitive to, of the nuances. But when Ty says carriers suck, it makes me cringe, but that is what a lot of people are saying. And so we're going to take the bull by the horns and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, so brokers, okay, does everybody know what a broker is? Okay, a broker, he gets the cars, but he doesn't have trucks, so he needs somebody with a truck to go get the car. Brokers and carriers tend to have a really hateful relationship. Somehow they get along, but they are the ones that come up with the blue chip carrier. They're the ones that need good carriers, right? You go talk to a big company and broker and you say, what do you need? Do you need more cars to move, or do you need good carriers? The answer is always, I need good carriers. Ty, can you help us find good carriers? Always. So the answer is yes, I can. I've got a whole list. We've got a whole show of people that follow us and watch us that pay attention to the things we say and do and the terms and the things we learn from Rapid Recon, why it's important to be on time, why it's important to look good, all the things that are pushing this. That's what we talk about every day. And I get excited about it too.
Right. And I was going to say, if there's two universal truths, everybody has transportation problems and everybody needs good carriers.
Yeah. So the more we know, the better we can make better carriers for people. I mean, I'm not kidding. That's why I love going to these conferences and meeting guys, watching demos, shaking hands, just sitting there listening to their story, like Dennis and how he got into this. And just, I mean, there's unlimited education for me to improve my business right here, your place.
And what I want, my dream, is to have the majority of, well, the automotive industry, but especially transportation industry, to regularly tune into ATI, whether it's through the podcast or however, because you're busy, there's a lot going on, and to keep that education drum beating and always be ahead at the forefront of what's happening instead of feeling like you're always trying to catch up. That's my dream for ATI.
That is really well said. And I want to just thank both of you, Ty, for being out there in the freezing weather and at the real place where the problem starts and ends, and Jay, for you being the microphone behind the awareness in this YouTube channel. And thank you for taking the time to work with Rapid Recon.
We appreciate you, Dennis. Thank you for taking the time to spend with us, and we really appreciate that.
And ultimately, we're all in this together. I mean, if we can't keep making this business more efficient, right from where you find the car to the getting it delivered, it just makes it more expensive for everybody. And so I really get excited about this topic, and you're a big part of it. So thank you guys for your time. Hope you have a great week, and appreciate it.
Thank you,
All right.
Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
Likewise.
Thanks, Jay.